evening, good evening, good evening. I've got a special guest today. I've got Nancy Baker. How you doing today?
Nancy.
Is that your phone?
Yeah, it is my phone, but you said my name wrong,
What
so
did I say?
I think
I didn't say your name wrong.
you
What did I
did.
just say?
You
What did I
didn't say
say?
Nancy.
What did
You
I say?
didn't say
Nancy.
yeah, something like that.
Oh no, I apologize. Say it again.
That's all right. It's fine. But yeah, it is my.
No, how you doing today though?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Like, so we've both just finished watching two great matches, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So the point of this is to talk about just like role models, and obviously I see you as a role model and the things that you've been doing and the things that you will be doing in the future. How important is the women's game at the moment?
In general, it's always been important for me. It's not at the moment. Women's football has always been important for me. It's a factor of my life that's been in my life since I can remember. So it's one of those things. It's always been there, and it's always going to be there. So it's like a constant for me.
And like, are you like today has been? I mean, we watch it quite a bit. I mean, obviously you watch it more than I watch it. But I've been watching it since I started speaking to Jay. I've been watching it quite a bit. And like today, I noticed that there was a massive, maybe because it was like Champions League, there was a massive boom in terms of how much people were watching it. And I think what I'm happy now is people are actually starting to see that there's not much difference in quality. I think when I first started watching it, probably 15, 20 years ago, with like the Rachel Yankees and the Kelly Smiths and players like that, there was one position that was probably holding the game back, and it was goalkeeping. But today, the Chelsea keeper, like the saves that she was pulling off were just like they were amazing, and I was just like, and you said you was on edge. I obviously, because I support Arsenal, I wanted Chelsea to lose, but you're neutral.
You still wanted Chelsea to lose?
Yeah, because
I
know, but that's just me. I think that's just that I would just always want. I wanted Man City to win today though, because I think, but no, because of how good Barcelona were, I just thought, you know what? I've been reading up and watching a bit of Barcelona recently, and I thought, you know what? If Man City can beat them, then I think that would be massive. So how impressed were you with the first match? Let's talk about the first match quickly. How impressed were you with the way Barcelona played? Firstly,
yeah, Barca, Man City. I genuinely didn't think it was going to be 3-0 to Barcelona. I honestly didn't.
you think it's gonna be closer?
Yeah, 100%, 110%. I thought it was going to be closer. I don't really think City turned up today, if I'm being honest. Ellie Roebuck, fantastic game, as we was on the subject of goalkeepers. Ellie Roebuck had an incredible game, talking about the quality of goalkeepers, because it's always under fire. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a closer game, but it wasn't. Like, everything about Barcelona today, their press, they continue to press. The pressure they put on City for the whole game was second. Like, they literally had City on ropes from like 3 minutes in. And
the
then
thing is, it was like Pep Guardiola. It was like his Barcelona team, like the pressing. I was just like, I've never seen anything like it in the women's game anyway. Like, it was just amazing. It was amazing to watch, to be fair.
Yeah, I think they played really well. Like, as I said, they were pressing. They kept to a constant press and pressure, which meant that it made City struggle. I'm not the biggest advocate of playing out from the back, and City still continue to do that with the danger of what Barcelona were. Their movement of the ball, the way they moved this as a collective when they were in and out of possession, was something that they were a force to be reckoned with. And then the likes of the bench and the players that they were bringing on like Lika Martin.
They brought on their top scorer,
their goal scorer, like it was. And I was like, whoa.
And that was the thing. I think their average is five game, isn't it, this season in the league anyway? Their average is 5 a game, and I just when I saw it, I was like, this could be dangerous. And I think, like, do you feel they were lucky to get away with only 3?
No, I don't. I think Ellie Roebuck had a really, really good performance. Like she from
Mm-hmm.
the get go, she kept him in it. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, see, if I say yes, I'm sort of discrediting Ellie Roebuck. Do you know what I mean?
No, not really, because she just had an amazing game. So I mean,
But
um,
if I say yes, more should have gone in. That mean Ellie wouldn't have saved them. But she's
oh
made some.
yeah, I see what you say. Okay, I get what you mean. Okay, oh yeah, we're gonna say it deserved to be 3-0 because yeah, like you're saying, it goes down to, like, if they kept a clean sheet, you're sort of saying it's because of the defenders. So like you're saying, it was 3-0 because of the goalkeeper. So and yeah, she had an amazing game, but Man City did have their chances.
They did, but I
So
don't think they took them as well
yeah,
as
they
they really do.
and that's the issue, especially any sort of Champions League in both male and female. You have to take your chances against the top teams, and if you don't, you're going to get punished. Is there any way back in this fixture for Man City?
It's going to be difficult. It is going to be like it finished 3-0, and I was like, I don't know. Like, and I don't think Barcelona are not going to score in the next game.
That's the thing. That's
So
what I was thinking.
I can't see Barcelona not scoring again. So honestly,
Yeah,
I think it's going to be, if they do come back, and that is wow, like I'll eat my words sort of thing. But
yeah,
I think it will be very difficult. And
yeah.
yeah, like
No, I
Barcelona
totally agree.
6 goals all season in all competitions so far. So
Good luck to them. But I mean, Man City do have the quality to do it. So if anyone can do it, you're sort of looking at Man City and Chelsea being able to score against Barcelona, really. So I don't think they can get back into it and win, but I think they will probably get a goal. But like you're saying, I can't see that Barcelona not scoring.
yeah,
Um, Quickly talk about the second game as well. Obviously, Chelsea versus Wolfsburg. Sam Kerr, who, like I tweeted out, like her hold up play is, I don't know, man, it's just so good. How impressed were you with Chelsea? Because the first half, I don't know if anybody expected what happened in the second half. Watching the first half, I thought
I,
it was quite, I think it was quite switched around.
do you know what? I think both teams struggled to settle in the first half.
Mm.
It was an edge of your seat game. Like I enjoyed the whole game. I was thoroughly like I was in the game. Like I felt like I was
Yeah,
like I was, as I've said, I was supporting Man City and Chelsea because they're the two
yeah,
English teams left in it. I would absolutely love to see an English team win the Women's
yeah,
Champions League. Obviously, won't be seeing it in person as in the stadium, but I would love.
yeah.
I feel like it's something that would be big for English women's football. But the game itself was such a good game. It had me on the edge of my seat. I was tweeting
Mm-hmm.
live. I was giving my opinion. I was talking to my TV. Chelsea, just in that second half, they come out screaming and fighting, and I think it is such a, like, you have to really know what Emma Hayes and her team are doing and how it reflects back onto the team that go onto the pitch and the girls that are on the bench who come onto the pitch.
Yeah,
Chelsea are such a strong team, and I
yeah.
really think they thoroughly deserved it today. Although Wolfsburg did have about 5 chances that they could have scored, but
That's the
they
thing.
didn't, and Chelsea got the win. But Chelsea didn't give up.
Yeah. And again, it's the keeper in the Chelsea game as well, pulling off saves. Well, because we're speaking about Hayes for a second there. Do you think she could? Do you think, because there was talk about possibly managing Wimbledon? Is that something that you could see?
No, she wouldn't go.
You don't think she would?
Why would she go to Wimbledon? No disrespect, but why would she go to Wimbledon when she's got Chelsea?
Yeah, that's true.
She said it herself.
I know. Yeah, I mean, she did come out and say, "Yeah, why would she?"
She's building at Chelsea, and she's built something incredible, and she's gonna keep building on top of that. So I literally don't see no pull for her to go to
Yeah.
an AFC Wimbledon or wherever else. I think even like national team England, I don't think she'd want that job. Not
Yeah.
saying she'd be incredible in that job,
Mm.
but for me, her at Chelsea, it's a match made in heaven, and it's just going to lead to more and more success.
And just the last one on before we talk about you, England. Do you think they've underachieved with the players? I mean, obviously, we look at America, we look at Brazil and teams like that. They've got some great players, but do you think England have underachieved with the players that they've had over the years?
It's hard because we have always had really, really top tier players. Like
Proper.
even from way back, as you said earlier, like Rachel Yankee for me is the reason I started playing football. David Beckham, obviously David Beckham's a male, but the point is like they're two of the reasons why I started playing football.
Yeah.
Like Rachel Yankee for me is I'd put her in my 5-a-side team every single day of the week over some of the players in the WSL, but that's just because of how highly I rate her.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, obviously.
WSL would choose her as well over other girls in the WSL. Do you know what I mean? Or girls in the women's game at the moment. No, I don't think we've underachieved.
Yeah,
it's hard because the players work hard and they give it their all, and you see that on the pitch. Sometimes you just come up against teams who are better at the time, or have maybe the managerial side of it that have that little bit of spice and that little bit of added extra, or maybe that actual full commitment, or that desire to be with them full time and not stay with them for a couple of years, then move on to the men's game. Or do you know what I mean?
How many teams are now professional? Do you know?
So all the teams in the WSL are. You have to get WSL 1. You have to be professional. You have to meet the requirements. And then in the championship, if I'm not mistaken, you've got Liverpool, Leicester, Sheffield are part-time, Durham are part-time, London, I think the rest are part-time. If I'm not, I could be wrong.
Do you think that would help that like England's team? Because I think obviously, like you're saying, if you just love football, you love football. But at the same time, if you're being realistic, it's got to be viable for you to play as well. So if you want to be a top footballer, you can't be sort of working a full-time job as well. So if more teams are professional, do you think you would be like they would be able to attract more players playing? Which obviously, the more players you attract playing, then you're going to find better players. Do you think that would help if more were actually professional?
Do you know what? If I'm being honest, I think even beyond what you've just said, I think they need to be professional, because if you're in a league where you're playing against 2 professional teams and you're a part-time team and you're also carrying a job as a PE teacher,
it's not fair, is it?
Like how it's not fair. Like
it's not fair, is
it? You're at a disadvantage already. Like you could potentially be some of the best players playing in a part-time team, and that's no disrespect for the team or what they're doing, but you are at a disadvantage if you're not getting the same amount of training time, or the same amount of facilities, or the same amount of input, or the same amount of privileges that a professional team is getting. And there's one league in England of women's football which is professional. There is literally one fully professional league in England. So, and then you filter down and it's part-time, but part-time you're carrying a full-time job, or a part-time job, but
which isn't fair, obviously, like you said.
Yeah.
Do you think that they should be paid equally?
No. I don't think they should be paid equally, because they're not asking to be paid equally. They're asking to be paid an amount of money so that they can be comfortable and live without having to stress about money worries. They're not asking for, I don't know, 300,000 a year. They're asking for a wage where it's more than let's say 20k or 30k to live comfortably, to be able to not I'm not saying everyone gets 20k or 30k. Like I actually don't know how much players get paid. I don't ask that information. It's not. I don't feel like that's my
Yeah,
place.
it's not of our business,
Just
is
a
it? To be fair.
guesstimate. But
Yeah.
let's say in London, the average wage is like 25 grand.
Mm.
That's not living comfortably in London if you're earning 25 grand as a
Yeah.
person who's not a professional footballer. That's
Mhm.
you still probably scraping by.
Mhm.
So they're not asking to be paid equally. They're asking to earn enough money to be comfortable and actually not have to stress about money or those
Yeah.
things, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
no, I
Nah,
don't think they
I
should be
agree.
paid equally because there's not that sort. There's so much money in the men's game, and everyone knows that. And there's so much financial
Mhm.
backing, this, that, and the other. And the women's game is slowly building. But yeah, they're asking for, which I completely agree with. They're asking for enough money to be comfortable and not have. I'm not saying they have money worries, but you know what I mean when in terms
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
income,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not having to pick up a second job, etc., etc. So yeah, I don't think it should be equal. I think it should be enough to allow them to be secure.
Yeah, no, no, I mean, I totally agree. It's just, yeah, like you're saying, it's just about as well. It's about supply and demand. If there's no demand for it, which I think the demand is going up, and I'm hoping uh, Sky Sports and BBC are going to help with this because, um, like, there's been times where I've wanted to watch like a women's match and finding it is
Mm,
it's like on the BBC iPlayer,
yeah.
and I'm like, and it's not even promoted. So how would anybody know it's even on there? And I think that's where they have a responsibility to actually now put it out there. It doesn't cost them anything. It doesn't cost them anything to advertise it. So I'm hoping now that they advertise it and then get that demand because I think once people, I think what people they just not giving it a chance. They haven't. They've what they probably watched two matches 10, 15 years ago and just thought, okay, this isn't for me. But if like anything in life, things progress, people get better, and the women's game has it's to be fair, it's always been good. It's always been good, but now it's actually better. So I'm hoping that these things and people are gonna just give it a chance. Just give it a chance because I enjoyed it. You enjoy it. Anybody that watched the two matches today, we've watched Man United versus Man City and whoever this season, and the matches have been rubbish.
Mm,
But today we watched two top draw matches. So um, yeah, all we could do is hope that people really get interested in and the young people get into it as well. Got Bob in the building. Once the FA make it priority, it will rise even more than it is now. And yeah, again, they have a massive responsibility. There should be no difference between representing your country um, for both. Like if the men are getting paid a certain amount of money or getting a certain amount of benefits, the women should be getting the same amount of benefits as well because they're doing exactly the same thing. The FA have a massive role to play in just closing the gap for everyone, to be honest. So hopefully they do sort of fix up in the coming years. Um, let's get on to what you do now. Tell us what you do.
I do a lot of things. I do whenever anyone asks you what I do, it's like I reel off loads of stuff. But
That's it. That's what we like to hear because that's the
yeah,
whole point of you being a role model. I want to show people what you do, and I want people to see that it's not about the money, it's not about the clothes, it's not about the cars, it's not about selling whatever on Instagram. It's about just being real and being yourself and showing all the things that you do. And like I just the other day I was just literally I was going through your Instagram and seeing your Twitter and seeing all the things you do, and I was quite like, wow, she actually does more than I
yeah,
thought you did, to be fair. Um so yeah, let's start with the first thing that you done. What was the first thing you done? Was you a player when you was younger?
yeah. I've played my whole life. Like I still play now.
Yeah.
I've got a few things that, in terms of like injury and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
frustrating and things that I have to obviously make sure are okay before I can start playing. And obviously
Yeah.
with lockdown and stuff anyway, we couldn't play.
play anyway.
I've
Yeah.
always played football. I'm a coach. I'm a qualified referee. Not that I do referee because they get so much stick, so I don't put myself.
Nobody wants to be a referee.
Qualified futsal coach.
Mm-hmm.
Qualified to coach blind and deaf players, which is incredible. I remember doing the course.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite course I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I really do encourage people to experience that course and get involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I run a platform called Choose a Baller, which obviously promotes the women's game. I
Mm-hmm.
do some sports choreography here and there, which is super fun. Get to do some cool stuff, be on some cool shoots. What else I do? I have my own girls team, so I coach, which I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely love, like a grassroots girls team. I've had them for 3 seasons now. They're under 13s at the moment, but I
Mm-hmm.
love them, helping to like grow the game for them and give them opportunities. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky to know some of the girls in the WSL and Championship and across the board who always help and support me to inspire the girls, which is amazing. And my newest venture is Outside the Box, which is a not-for-profit company. So it's a community interest company, and it aims to provide free football and workshops for young females in West London between the ages of 13 and 16 to just offer them those opportunities that I was lucky to have when growing up and that I've noticed are far and rare now, especially in West London. And I thought, who better to provide it than me, in the most non like cocky or whatever way. It was more just I couldn't see it being done, and I really wanted to make that change. And it is something that was and still is and will continue to always be very, very personal for me. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
lucky to be doing that, and I'm supported by my local youth club that I used to go to. They support me,
Mm-hmm.
let me use their facility, and we're in partnership, which is incredible to think. The place where I used to go when I was like 11 to 15, 16, and now 10 years later letting me use their facilities and supporting what I'm doing to give back to my local community.
Yeah. So tell us a couple of the partnerships that you got. Just you don't have to mention their names if you don't want to, but tell us a couple of the partnerships you got, because I think it's quite amazing for someone that's just like you saying you done it. You started it in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So from doing it in your bedroom to getting out there, it's
Yeah, no,
amazing.
I'm really lucky, and like I work hard and I try and make genuine connections with people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really something I pride myself on. I don't just make connections to talk to someone once and then never talk to them again. Like I don't rate that, and I don't think that's how people should go about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically you're stuck with me now, is what I'm saying.
I
Um,
mean, I came to you and I asked you. I asked you to help me as well. So
Yeah, so no, I'm really lucky to be partnered with the likes of Sports Direct, who helped us in providing lots of equipment, sending over lots of stuff for me, and the girls, all the equipment, which is amazing. And they continue to support me and support the girls, which I'm so
mm-hmm.
lucky to have them on board. I've also got the likes of Wild Hydrate, who provide our drinks. Again,
Mm-hmm.
so they provide our drinks for all the girls, and the girls absolutely love the drinks, which is amazing. Get refreshments for girls.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm partnered with the Dalgana Youth Trust, which is the youth centre that I used to go to, and I've been also really lucky to have people at New Balance sent over some stuff for me, some
Mm-hmm.
footballs and some bibs and some kit for the girls, which I use as like incentives and prizes. So like
Yeah.
I like to be able to reward the girls. So I think I gave one of my girls a New Balance football a couple of weeks ago because we did like an activity where you had to guess the England squad.
Yeah.
Guess.
I wish I saw there was 4 different teams, weren't there?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the person who got like the closest won a football, and I think just little stuff like that, and they didn't know they were going to get a prize, but it's just little stuff like that, so it's fun, and it's a good way to also show the girls that what they're doing. So if they're turning up week in week out for 3 months, what's me to be able to say, oh look, here's a tracksuit top, or here's a t-shirt, just something to say like we appreciate what you're doing, and it goes noticed. And I think it shows that it's nice to give people credit and let them know that we see what you're doing and we recognize it, and you do get rewarded when you do good things. And it may not always be clothing or a football, but it's just little things. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
not well done, like I'm really proud of you.
And that's what I mean. Again, that's why I asked you to do the show, because it's about being a role model. And I think some people actually go out there and try to be a role model, which I don't think always works, because it just comes across unnatural. But obviously, like, we spoke a couple times, and I could just see everything you're doing is very natural, and you enjoy doing it. Like,
Yeah.
I hate watch-alongs with a passion, but I had to watch you and Jay's one the other day, and
Yeah.
like, I could just see the passion was there for the game, and
Yeah.
the love for the game, which, again, it's just it's amazing to see. And hopefully, like I say, and it can get you to everywhere you want to go. I mean,
Yeah.
I messaged you the other day and you didn't reply for the whole day. What were you doing? Because you was at a game, weren't you?
Yeah, I was at a game. So on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
I was at a fixture. Also, can I quickly just go back to the reason why I do the watch-alongs
Yeah,
and
go
why?
on. Obviously, yeah.
So the reason I started them is because I wanted to build a community, like a safe space for people to meet new people or discuss
Yeah.
women's football, to like come together and it just sort of be relaxed and chilled. And I was so nervous doing my first watch-along, and like, who is obviously our mutual friend, like he
Yeah.
always picks me up and tells me how like great I am at what I do, and honestly he builds my confidence like no other
Mm-hmm.
person. And Ajani and Drew, who are like our little squad that
Yeah.
we're going on, but they always back me, and I'm so glad I've done it, because I've got like a really solid community that come and watch along like every time I do one, and it just builds and builds and builds, which is amazing for me to be able to provide a safe space where you're not judged. And I have people
That's
who
it.
support Arsenal, I have some people who support Man United, I have people from Lebanon, from Japan, from Houston,
Wow.
from London, from Reading, like literally all over the place. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
wow, like I'm bringing people together through the power of women's football. Like it's incredible. It really is. But yeah, sorry, sidetrack.
No, no, it's all right. You
Back
can
to the
do all the
game.
talking you want.
Back to the game. Yeah, so I was at the Tottenham versus Bristol women's game. Quality
Mm-hmm.
game. It was a draw at the end. Great game. I know a few of the girls at Tottenham. I know a few of the girls at Bristol. So it's always nice to, like, give them a social distance wave and catch up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, all that safety stuff, mask on
Yeah.
stuff. But no, it's a really, really good game of football, and I enjoy going to games where it's not always the top teams or the teams in the top four, because a game like that, you're in a position where you get to see teams that are maybe fighting relegation battle or fighting to stay up. And like the game the other day was unreal. So it's such
Mm-hmm.
a good game. Like I love it, and I'm lucky I get to go to games, obviously, as media.
So exactly, yeah. So just tell us a bit about what you do, because obviously that's what I was trying to get at. That you was at the game and you had special. Not all of us could be at the game. You're special. So tell us what you was doing at the game.
Yeah. So
Obviously, you weren't just watching it, but yeah.
no, I weren't just watching it. Obviously, I get to go. Um, go as media because of She's a Baller. So I cover the game,
Hmm.
keep people updated, and I'm really lucky to be in a position where I can do that. And I have been lucky to do that throughout the whole of lockdown, and it's something that I didn't actually realize how valuable it was for people. Like I've had people message me or seen me and say like, "Oh, I love your updates" and stuff like that, and I'm like, "Oh my god,
Hmm.
like, you actually like, watch them?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course." Like it's crazy. Like I don't like I'd never expect it. Like I don't really expect people to know who I am or what I do, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that's just being humble, to be fair. But obviously, you know that there is a little following, and it's only going to get bigger. Um, So, because we usually end by saying best 11s, but like we discussed earlier, it would be a bit tricky because of you. You're just, you're famous. All these ballers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it a bit easier for you. Who are your favorite three? So give me your favorite, because obviously you mentioned David Beckham. So is there two more males that you want to put in there with David Beckham?
Or are you going to
As
give
your
me 3 males and 3 females?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, do you know what? I think I'm going to scrap David Beckham.
Wow,
If I'm
scrapped.
being
He's
honest.
gone.
Yeah. Uh, And I'm gonna go for Raheem Sterling, my boy Raheem. I absolutely love everything he stands for and what he does in terms of football, and he seems like a proper nice guy. He's
Yeah.
also like he grew up like I think 20 minutes away from me, so you've got to
Yeah.
stick with the boys. But yeah, he's definitely one player that I do genuinely enjoy watching. So I go for Raheem Sterling, Juan Mata. I always rate Juan Mata so much. I absolutely love him as a player. And Paul Scholes.
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with them. Like Sterling is probably one of my favorite current players, and I think he's just underrated. Mata, I can't believe he doesn't play for Man United.
As
Like
much as he
just
should, yeah.
yeah, as much as he should, because he sees things that nobody else sees. I mean, obviously his pace is not there. He's never really had pace, but just the ultimate baller. And yeah, Scholes, we can't argue Scholes. Where does she come from? North Wheezy. I don't think we need to. We can't disclose. We can't
I'm
disclose where
from
she's
West
from.
London, but obviously
She's from
Northwest
Wheezy.
at
She's
all.
from Wheezy.
Pop in and out here and there.
She's everywhere. And your three women, ladies,
I would
females.
go for Fran Kirby because I just think she's in the form of her life, and she is
Mm-hmm.
genuinely one of the loveliest people ever. Which I base my I base stuff on how people are as people and as players,
Mm-hmm.
just in terms of how like much support I give them and how much I back them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky to be able to know some people on a personal level,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, being a good person and being a genuine person goes really, really far.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say Fran Kirby, Alex Greenwood, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
love Alex. She's class as well, as a person and as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I think you've got to stick with Lucy Bronze. She's quality, isn't she? I don't actually know Lucy Bronze.
I was gonna ask you,
I'm
Bronze or Scott.
not pals with her, but we've done like an interview and stuff together. But
Mm.
we're not boys, so I'm not gonna try claim it. If he wants to be friends with me, that's fine. Won't say no. And you
So
know what? The
hopefully
key,
we'll put it out there.
I absolutely rate
She's
Keith.
so good as well, man.
Yeah.
Like
There's
Paris
too many
is
female
so
players
good. There's too many.
off.
There's too many, and yeah, like we could just name names forever. I think Kelly Smith, Rachel Yankee, and,
Yankee. Oh, sorry.
and Alex Scott are my three favorite. To be
I
fair.
was doing current players across the board. Rachel Yankee number one every single time.
Yeah,
Rachel
I
Yankee
think.
number one every single time, without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, if we're gonna really be naughty, I'll put Marta in there as well. But that's just being cheeky because she's basically Ronaldo. But it's not fair. But she's
Not
amazing.
smarter. She's smarter. She don't
Yeah,
need
she's
to.
Marta. She's actually better than Ronaldo, isn't she? I think
She's
she's better than
smarter.
Ronaldo. She's better than Ronaldo. How many has she won now? Has she scored over 100 goals?
She's done it all.
She
She's
has,
one of
has
those
she?
players. I think everyone respects her. Everyone.
Yeah,
One of those
and I
players.
think Kelly Smith is like
Oh yeah.
that's the equivalent over here. It's just mad how good they are. To be fair, just the last topic. Obviously, you're in media, and having seen what happened to like Karen Carney and Alex Scott, does that make you want to work harder, or has it ever like deterred you from wanting to do it?
No, it doesn't put me off. Like I do it because I do what I do because I always want to try and
Mm,
what I do and why I do it is I want to break down the stigma of the girls. When I say the girls, I mean footballers.
yeah,
I don't like
footballers.
calling them footballers because they're people. So the
Yeah.
the girls being more than just footballers, like they are people, and that's always what I want to get across. So when I create content or when I do anything, like most of the time, I'm just having a laugh. With, like my,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like I'm just having a laugh. I'm just supporting, having jokes, bringing,
Finally here.
bringing good vibes, and just like saying hello, and getting to know them, or like talking about trainers, or
Hmm.
talking about fashion, or talking about like their dog. Like so,
Mm,
I sort of it doesn't deter me. It just makes me want to continue doing what I'm doing to get the
yeah.
stuff across and to show people that they're not robots and they're humans and they're people with feelings and they're not these people that are so out of reach or so out of touch.
Yeah.
They're just human. Like, yeah, I hate the thought of footballers or sports people being dehumanized, and I think
Yeah.
sometimes there's a lot of that, and it's crazy because they're just people.
Yeah.
Like, the same
I
way,
100% agree.
the same way if I saw you down the street and let's say like you were wearing an old school Arsenal jersey, like if I saw you and I like your jersey and I'd be like, oh, your t-shirt's sick, like,
Yeah.
and I'd walk past you. The same thing I'd do if I saw, I don't know, like Raheem Sterling, he had a weight pair of trainers on, like he had a banging pair of New Balance trainers on the other week. The Like if I saw him walking down the street or whatever, I'd be like, yo, I like your trainers. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just those
Yeah.
little things. Like it's
I
just,
mean, I think with the Karen Carney one, I think what was annoying about that, or not annoying, it was, I don't even know the
I
words.
just
It
think there
was,
wasn't any need, like on a whole actual platform as well, like a whole.
I think that's what upset me the most. And I was arguing with like loads of Leeds fans and women as well, sticking up for Leeds. And I'm like, at the end of the day, everybody that's on social media, anyone that has their own social media, anyone that runs social media content from a club knows what goes on social media.
Yeah.
So as soon as they put that out there,
It makes it seem like it's acceptable.
yeah, it was only ever going to go one way. No one was going to laugh at it and just be bantering. They were going to attack her, and I feel like they wanted it to happen. And I think they were upset with what she said, and that was their comeback. And they knew what was going to happen. And I don't remember seeing any apology. I think they just tried to say, "Oh, we've done it to this person and we've done it to that person," but it's you knew it wasn't ever going to be the same. So it was quite annoying. And then yeah, just the way people speak about Alex Scott, like she hasn't got how many caps for England, she didn't play for Arsenal for how many years, like she didn't represent her country and stuff. And
But she did represent her country, so
no, I mean, yeah, so I mean, like they're acting like she never represented
yeah,
her
no, I know,
country.
but that's what
Oh
I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. I'll say yeah. So, and you know, half of these guys can't even kick a football. That's what annoys me. I'm like, if I was like, let's go outside and
Play
play
to
top bins or whatever, like you wouldn't be able to hit the ball top bins. Like you wouldn't be able to do it. Like you can't do crossbar challenge, and it's just like, how are you so brave? Like everyone's just brave behind the keyboard, aren't they? And it's just it's just sad to see. To be fair, that
Yeah.
was so shady. She didn't, obviously, Jay. We know that she didn't deserve it, and she seems like a really nice person. To be fair, and again represented England, like
On social
just such a
media,
baller.
that's when you know that it's really, really hard hitting. And I'm not
Hmm.
just talking about Karen Carney. Like, there's been football players with the racist abuse that they're getting. Like, why are you bringing skin color into
Yeah.
a football match? Like, why have you got to say something about someone's skin color when something happens that you don't like? Like, how does that automatically make you think, rah, let me jump to their skin color or her skin color, or rah, let me talk about because she's a female, she don't know what she's doing. I know they're two very different subjects, but
Yeah.
I'm
You
just,
know what? They are, but they're not, because the way I see it, like
I think
without
people,
being
the first thing
there's
they see, they
there's
don't.
just levels in it. There's just the man, and then below the man, there's the woman, and then there's like people of color, and then there's women again, and then there's like black women sort of right at the bottom. So I don't think it's too dissimilar, to be fair, because you know what you're doing, and I'm sure that people have done it to you. Some may not have even done it on purpose, like, but treated you a different way because they'd be like, okay, she's a woman, she don't know what she's talking about, or she can't be a baller because she's a woman.
It's funny.
Um,
Sorry to cut you off, but when you say that, it cracks me up because I remember I was doing like when I was at uni, I used to work for a company, and we'd have like kids come over from different countries, and they do like a
mhm,
short or a long stay, like a week, 2 weeks, whatever.
mhm,
I took one of the football sessions, and it was an all boys session. I remember at the start of the session, all these Spanish boys looked at me like, no, sorry, they were Spanish, French, and German. I think there's a
mhm,
bit of a mix. I think maybe some of them came across. No, yeah, just them. And then so it was a group of like 13 to 15-year-old boys, and
mm.
like, oh my god, like I saw them look at me like, oh my god, a girl's doing the session. And then at the end of the session, they literally were having the best time of their life. And I think like you saw the change throughout the session.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy, but I don't try to not let it not affect me, but I try to not let it like stamp on my parade or not my.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to be like, rah, just prove a point. It's fine. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, and you're doing it, to be fair, aren't you? So there's nothing anyone can say, because you're doing a lot more than any of us to help people that you see as disadvantaged, and you're helping them. You're giving them the confidence. You're giving them what they need. Just giving them a little start. Whether it's in football, they may not want to be footballers, but
yeah,
just like you're saying, giving them a place to go, to be around other people like them, giving them somewhere safe to go, giving them the motivation, um, giving them respect, which a lot of older people don't give younger people respect. So, that's why some of them act the way they act. But what you're doing is amazing. And like I was saying, you just got to keep it up. Obviously, I know you're going to keep it up, but as someone that's 10 years older than you, I'm passing down my knowledge and saying, just don't give up, to be honest. Keep doing what you're doing. Where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years from now? What do you want to be doing?
for me, I just want to be known as someone who's helping the women's game grow, both at
Mm-hmm.
the professional level right through down to the grassroots level.
Grassroots, yeah.
Giving opportunity, and if that's opportunity for players to be able to just not be seen as players, or if it's
Mm-hmm.
for be able to motivate a young person to get into football or play football. And again, going back to outside the box, like you don't have to be the best footballer. Like the greatest thing about outside the box is it doesn't matter what level of football you're at. You could
Mm-hmm.
be trialing for an academy, or you could be playing for fun. Like I care, but I don't care, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no box to say, oh, you can come because you're this or you can come because of that. Like I don't mind if
Yeah.
your parents are really wealthy or your parents are not able to afford a pair of football boots. I
Mm-hmm.
can be in a position where hopefully I can help you.
Yeah.
It's about giving an equal opportunity to everyone who wants to be involved, and that's what's important to me, because it's not about, for me, it's not about where you come from or what you're doing or where you want to go or how you're trying to get there. Is can I help you, and
Yeah.
can I be a space that's provided for you where even if we're doing a workshop and you don't really know about women's football, that's fine, you can learn. Not all my workshops are around women's football. Like sometimes we just play Connect Four in pairs.
Yeah.
It's like full communication, being able
Yeah.
to work with someone. Do you know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. And Connect Four absolutely bangs. So
Mm-hmm.
sessions going off. But do you get what I'm saying? Like it's not
Yeah.
all about football. Like sometimes you might want to go into media, or you might want to go into graphic design, or you might want to be a coach, or you might want to be a commentator, or you
Yeah.
might go into working for a brand. Like there's so many different options. So that's what it's about for me. It's about hopefully being able to help and to put people on a pedestal and utilize the people that I have around me that are backing me and supporting what I do to support everyone that comes through.
Yeah. No, and I love what you're doing, and obviously I asked you to help me with the women's show, and you're gonna help me as much as you can when you can, as you said. So I'm gonna hold you to that. But before we conclude, can you please tell us your name? Tell us where we can find you if you want to be found.
So obviously my name's Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I can be found where it says. I think. Let me just check my phone. Yeah, my Instagram is the name that comes up there.
Yeah, that's the Instagram one, because I was thinking there wasn't the underscore in your Twitter one, was there?
And my Twitter is the exact same minus the underscore.
Yeah, I thought so. Where can we find your watch-alongs, or do we just have to wait until you tweet it out?
Watch-alongs are on Twitch, and it's Nance Baker. Wait, let me just double check that. I think that they're all. It's just Nance Baker, so it's the same as the
Yeah,
Twitter.
it's just Nance Baker. Yeah.
Then,
So
like on my Instagram, it's got like
you
outside
got
the box.
Instagram as well.
So we can, if you want to support outside the box, which we always love.
Yeah.
That's on Instagram with the link there.
So make sure you go and follow Outside the Box right now. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Obviously, we're going to do this again. And next time, obviously, Jay's going to be here. I don't know, like he was hiding away today. But thank you so much, and thank you for letting us know more about you. And I'm sure people will be um, going and finding out more about what you do, because what you're doing is actually quite amazing, to be fair. But yeah, if you're not subscribed to the Away Days, then obviously you're just messing with your life. You could always find me on Away Day Show on Twitter and on Instagram. And thank you so much for rolling with us. Everybody that's left comments, the last comment in there, good show, guys. Thank you so much from the Devil's Avocado, who I need to get on because she's an absolute legend as well.
The devil's avocado. I love that. That's fun.
So everybody, make sure you have a good evening, make sure you social distance, and please just enjoy your evenings, and see you all